Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I would like to show you guys how I edit my photos in Lightroom. I picked up these two images right here. As you can see, first thing to do after importing your photos in Lightroom Classic is to look at the histogram of the photo. So let's look at the information, the settings for my photo. So the settings is ISO 80. I was using my 50mm lens and I'm shooting wide open. My aperture is 1.8 and my shutter speed is 1/3200. If you pay attention here at the photo, you could see that it's a little bit overexposed photo for my liking. So the first thing I usually do, I just bring the pointer tool to the lightest part of the image and look how it changes. So here you could change the temperature of the photo. You could always use it, leave it as it is, like as shot, or you could use it auto, or there are a lot of options here. So this was only daylight situation, so I'm gonna go ahead and select daylight. So for my liking, this image is a little bit overexposed, especially the face of the model, and we have too much light is coming from this part of the image. So what I would like to do right now, I'm gonna just adjust the exposure and pull the exposure slider down. As you can see here, our photo changed a little bit, so the colors are a little bit different. We have more tint, and also we started seeing some details on the photo. This is tone section in Lightroom. What it does is whatever you do here, it affects your histogram. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull up the contrast slider a little bit and then bring down the highlights. Also bring up the shadows a little bit, not too much. We don't need too much whiteness in the photo, and pull the black slider down. As you can see, if you go all the way down, it looks very fake. So I always like to keep the natural look to the image. The next section here is called presence. So it has texture, clarity, dehaze, vibrance, and saturation tool. All right, so what I would like to do is I want to see some texture on her face, clarity as well. And dehaze tool, it looks like this. You just have to, find the balance on your photo. So I'm gonna bring up the slider a little bit and bring up the vibrance of the image. As you can see here, it started looking a little bit better than it was before. So I'm gonna go ahead and play with tone curve. Tone curve, what it does is you could still apply the same things that you did here. Highlights, shadows, and midtones. You could adjust them in this slider. So I'm gonna bring down the highlights a little bit, and midtones are gonna be right here. Okay, so I still want the contrast. I feel like the image looks much better right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and play with color mixer. So if you press right here, you could adjust specific colors on the image. So what I'm going to do right now, just work with pointer tool and adjust the colors of her jacket as well. So I'm gonna bring it a little bit up, as well as her dress. Okay. But remember, everything you adjust here affects the whole image. So you got to be really careful, especially if you have a subject in your photo and you don't want to mess up the skin color. So you got to be really careful. For color grading, I just want to keep it as it is. So I feel like it's pretty cool image right now, but I'm going to bring up the sharpening a little bit And as you can see, we started seeing some detail on her face as well. I'm going to put a check mark on chromatic aberrations. As you can see here, this is lens correction. Automatically finds the lens you are using for this shoot. 50mm is pretty much close to what we see in real life. I'm not going to play with distortion. So what I would like to show you guys, you could play with grain. As you can see, the image is changing. You could always apply some grain to your photo. Some people like it, some people don't like it. So for me, I'm not very fond of it. So the next thing I would like to do, I would like to crop this image right here. So I cut the image right here. As you can see, the difference, we started seeing some detail on her face. Her skin color changed a little bit, and her dress is popping up here. So the next thing I would like to work is on her face. I'm gonna move on to the next section. This is remove tool, this is healing brush tool, and this is clone tool. Right now I'm going to work with healing brush. You could always change the size of your brush and adjust it right here. So what I'm going to do is just like, I would like to work on her pimples a little bit. Her face is much clearer right now. What I would like to do next is playing again with healing brush tool and change the size of the let's see if it changes. We have a concealer line here. Alright guys, this is looking pretty nice so far, but I don't like the color here. So alright guys, this is it for her face. I actually would like to create some masks right now. So what is bothering me right now, her lip color. It's a little bit less color here. So what I'm going to do is create a separate mask for her lips and play with tint a little bit, and I'm going to change the color. Actually wanted to do, okay, her lips are popping up right now. So the last thing I would like to do is enhance her eyes, right? So I selected a separate mask and I would like to bring up the shadows. You don't want to do too much work because it's always a good idea to keep the images as natural as possible. Okay, let's look at the before and after. So as we can see here, her face is more clear. We have some more texture and her eyes are popping up. Her lip color is nicer. What is bothering me right now, this is just some parts of her body which are not even. So what I would like to do is right now I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust the skin color. Yep, works for me. And another one right here. Alright guys, this is it for this photo. I hope I did everything right and we could see before and after. She's popping up. I just would like to add something here before I forget. Okay, so let's create another mask. If you press the plus icon here, you have a lot of options. So I'm gonna select people again, and this time I would like to select her hair. Because we played with the exposure of the image, we lost some beautiful highlights on the hair. So I'm going to create a mask and bring up the shadow slider as well. Okay, so let's look at it. So now we have too much detail. Her hair is popping. She is looking amazing. This is before and this is after. Tell me what you think. Okay, I think I'm done here. You could always do any further adjustments if you go ahead and press here and edit the image in Photoshop. This image nothing is perfect, okay? So this image is not perfect either. Let's analyze the photo. So my ISO here is 100 and I was using my 35mm 1.4 lens, but this time my aperture is 5. Shutter speed is 1/200. Why? Because I was adjusting my camera settings to the flash settings. Because of the black door behind her, we can't see like her hair. So it's pretty much underexposed photo. So what I would like to do right now, I'm gonna go ahead and change the settings for the photo to flash, okay, and work in tone section. So what I would like to do is bring up the exposure. Also want to bring up the shadows and the highlights. I need some contrast as well. We don't need too much whites, and I'm gonna pull up all of these sliders a little bit, and I'm gonna bring up the vibrance tool. I am going to insert 3 dots on this graph right here for the tone curve. All right guys, this is it for this. And this color on her hand is bothering me, so I just want to change the color on her hand. I actually did basic adjustments. If you look at the photo, you could see the difference before and after. She's popping up. We can see some detail on her hair as well, and her skin tone is much better, warmer. But I am not satisfied with the framing of this photo. So what I would like to do is I'm gonna go ahead and crop this image. So if you would like to straighten it, I usually use this auto tool because it does a pretty good job. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and crop it right here. All right guys, this is how it looks so far, right? So let's work on her pimples again. You could always adjust your source if you are working. If you don't like the automatic adjustments that is going to be done. Okay, this is pretty close enough. And we have a little bit tiny pimple and right here. Let's heal her face. For this one, I'm gonna use the people masking and iris and hands. Let's bring up the shadows and let's bring up the exposure on her eyes and change the color to green. Let's see. Now her eyes are popping up, that we could see she has green eyes. And let's play with the lips. I have already showed you, so I'm gonna go ahead and work faster right now here. Let's bring up sharpening and masking and apply some lens corrections. Alright, this is pretty much it. If you would like to do further work, you could always play with shadows, hue, saturation here. This section, I don't want to use it, so I am pretty much done with this image, but I just want to do one more highlights to the image. I'm gonna select people again, select her, and I'm going to select her hair and create another mask. So I'm gonna bring up the shadows and also expose. If you want to change furthermore, you could always do it, but I feel like this is working pretty nice so far. She has beautiful skin and she has beautiful hair, so now we could see it. She's popping up from the background, right? So the last thing I would like to do is, I just don't like this line right here and this little object right here, so we can go ahead and get rid of this. So I'm going to apply the remove tool here. So let's see if it works. Yay, it worked out. And I actually don't like this line. We could always heal it. Let's cover it. Alright guys, this is looking pretty nice so far for me, but for my liking, her skin color is a little bit different, and maybe we could play with tint and do some exposure tricks again. The model's hands are pretty overexposed compared to her face, so I would like to change that. And this time I'm gonna create linear gradient, and we don't have to see this part of the image, so I'm gonna bring down the shadows. Alright, so now I feel like it's matching for a little bit. You could always select the subject or select the image and play with dehaze tool. So I'm going to actually bring down the texture and bring down the dehaze tool so we could see. You see, we could do more. Okay, sorry. So we could do more. Now her face is looking much better for my liking. All right, let's compare. This is before and this is after. If you want to have a closer look, you could see some details on her face, and she has smoother skin here. I hope you like this video. Give me a big thumbs up if you like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.